Hello, I'm Ruby Burrito, and welcome to today's video. Today's Monday, the 14th, which means we are less than 24 hours away from the expansion announcement. I know I'm getting pretty close to the end here. I was not able to make this earlier, but I would like to put out a wager of what I think is going to be what the elite specializations and so what professions are going to be tied to all those images that they've been posting. I do know that some information was shared. They had little blurbs on the Chinese announcements, but I try to stay away from those because I wanted to kind of give my own thoughts and guess based on what I saw. What better place to kick this off other than where we started the last expansion? So, just a reminder, we did have this set of images. We have what looks to be a Paragon and a Ritualist, so I used those as part of the basis of what I decided here, because I believe this is a warrior and this is a necro, which I've discussed just purely based off the colors. So we're going to take a look at this. This is what they posted actually towards the end of today, allowing us to do our elite speculation. So you have the 9 images here and the 9 professions here. So I'm going to give you guys what I think these line up to. I know that they had some information, some bonus words and stuff with the Chinese announcements, but I have not looked at those. I'm fairly positive that it's going to be clear that I didn't, because I have a feeling that I'm going to be off on these, but I think these are going to be some fun. There's some potential here. We'll go with that. So you can see I've got these little circles up at the top, roughly colored to somewhat similar to the profession, and we're going to go through these here. The first two, we have Warrior. This is the one that I thought made the most sense for a Paragon. Like I said earlier, I think the Paragon is the one that is going to be for Warrior. We have a helmet here, a heavy helm, and we've got the wings, which fits perfectly with a Warrior, or with a Paragon. The Necro for the Ritualist, I tied with the Dagger. I thought it was a little bit too much of a gimme for that to be the Thief. I know it would fit perfectly with them thematically. I mean, their entire symbol here is a dagger and a key, but I really thought that this kind of like gives sacrificial vibes with the curvature of the dagger, and to me, sacrificial nature towards a ritual. They kind of tie there in your summoning spirits, so I thought that was a cool way to show a ritualist there. The next one that I did was an engineer, and I picked this because engineers, well, this is not so much of like an item that you would use a whole lot of technology to craft. It still looks like a craftable shield that you could put on an engineer, and engineers do have shields in one of the expansions, I believe, and you definitely could craft one of these as an engineer, and it could be like a tanky class. It could be separate from the shield that they already use, either using that, which I think would be cool, but also you could get, like, instead of an elixir gun, you could have a shield as part of that, or you could become tankier, and with that shield, it can boost your abilities, and your tool belt would tie into that as well. The next one was Elementalist. I don't have a lot to say here about this one, unfortunately. I think these like tendrils around the orb really gives me vibes of Catalyst, honestly, because we kind of have the orb moving, but I just, for some reason, this really drew me to Elementalist, and I couldn't really tie this into anything else that I liked, or thematically, I was struggling with this one a little bit. So this one's my Elementalist. I don't play a ton of Ellie, but just this kind of, like I said, gave me the vibes of being able to switch, having like a core power and maybe boosting that core power. I mean, maybe this would allow you to not switch between the attunements in combat. Maybe you can switch weapons with the Elementalist, but not swap attunements because you actually have like a core power for fighting. That's a possibility. That's kind of where I'm leaning with this one. The next one is going to be Ranger. I know that this one looks very Ranger-esque, but I wanted to go with this one. Maybe this is going to be like a high-powered ranged version of the Ranger, a profession that ties really heavily into the longbow or the shortbow. And it gives you kind of like stalking ability, like from afar, more give yourself some distance and let those arrows fly. The next one is going to be Revenant. I know that we probably don't have like a Kitsune hero to channel, but I was actually thinking of this as a Ranger earlier, and I was going through it, and I was changing my mind, because if you're going to channel the power of a giant Kitsune spirit, I honestly feel like that makes more sense with a Revenant, and have your kit thematically around this crazy nine-tailed fox that maybe played heavily into Cantha or some other region that we might be going to. I thought that would be really fun to give Revenants like a fox-themed, not maybe deity even, that they are channeling there. Third from last, I went with the cards for the thief because I thought that you could have, maybe not trading cards, but we do have maybe throwable daggers or something that you could toss onto a thief that kind of ties into the very thematically here. If you're throwing daggers, I think it really ties in with throwing playing cards, and thieves just kind of fit in with that. I don't have a ton with this one either. Honestly, I got a little bit of Virtuoso vibes of throwing cards, throwing daggers, but I didn't think that they would go directly with that. Penultimate, Mesmer, Bard. That one lines up the best for me. I had thought Thief for this one as for a little while. I had these two swapped, but just weapon-wise, it made more sense to me. I know we're not getting weapons with these elite specs, but I think just fitting in with the kits, it made more sense to have a Bard as a Mesmer. And then finally, you can see the last one I have here is Guardian. Originally, this looked very Revenant to me, which is one of the ones where I was second guessing, but I don't know. I think that this could be a tankier Guardian where you're kind of less so healing, because I know Firebrand has some really good healing abilities and really good Condi. I think this could be more of like a blunt force, throw in a hammer, or a mace even, because this could be either one of those. This could be a hammer or a mace, and really just ground and pound on your enemies there. Those are going to be my guesses. I'd love to hear what you guys think down below in the comments. I know probably not too many people are going to see this before we get the announcement, so maybe you guys will see this after. Let me know what you think. We'll see how far off I am. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to hit that subscribe button to support the channel, and we'll see you guys after the announcement tomorrow. Have a good one.